This one's for all my people. Find it hard to have a conversation. And to all my introverts. How you doing? It's weird, ain't it? Nobody ever asks you that, huh? Well, I want to ask you, how you doing? Because I was just like you. Oh, man. I remember. I remember being so worried about anything I said. Because it might cause a reaction to somebody else. Or I just didn't really know how to talk to people. Oh my god. This is crazy world, no? It's like we live in this society where it's like, alright, here's all these people, huh? Now you gotta know how to talk to them without being told. You know, nobody teaches you how to communicate, or better yet, nobody teaches you, like, what to say, how to say, you know, obviously. Because you're just supposed to start picking up on that little thing, little by little, you know. It's hard, no? It's like a set rule, and like, oh, there's like a flow, and the flow don't make sense sometimes, but other people seem to get it. Why can't I? Oh, get slapped. Yeah, no. Whew. If you relate to like having conversation troubles, sit down a second. Let me speak to you. I still struggle. I still struggle a lot, and it's not gonna get easy. But it's necessary. You need a. I bet you realize that. Oh, you gotta conversate. You can't just always be worried about what another person thinks about you. Even if those thoughts are still there, I bet you're just like, oh man, why am I thinking like this? You know, why am I worrying? Why? You're always constantly asking yourself why. And I'm saying, slow down, partner. Slow down. Why being so harsh? You know, take your time. You're good. You got to give yourself grace. You know, you can't expect yourself to just like learn instantly, or just because you have the mindset today. You know what? I'm gonna try today, and I didn't really work out. Somebody said I sounded stupid, or somebody saying, why am I talking? You have somebody ask you that, like, why are you even speaking right now? You don't talk. Now that's top 3 awkward things of all time. Yeah, no. Don't get put off by that. Don't get derailed just because. Let me stop. There are so many rude and so many people who don't care enough. You know, they have their own things, and you know they'll just say how they see it. So honestly, you don't gotta worry about them. You don't gotta worry about those types of people. You know. I know it's scary, I know it's hard, and I know it's weird, but it's normal. And you're not different, but you're not weird for having these thoughts, you know. I always think like what's wrong with me, you know, like it's just like the words just don't come out the way I say it. I want to say them, and it sounds so weird. Why do I sound weird when I speak, you know? Oh my god, like I used to like those who know about the DS, I forgot what it was called, but I used to be able to send like make little like voice notes. Used to edit them and like make your voice sound weird, and yeah, I used to have this one that it was me and my sister, it was my uncle, it was him like it was it was just one of us screaming like mole, which is like a Mexican dish, and then the uncle was just like, stop fighting. Yeah, no, that's like the only one I could think about. Yeah, you know, it's just like stuff like that. You know, like just hearing my voice doing that, and I was like, oh, like why do I sound like that? You know, I sound so weird. But it was just me being so harsh on myself. You know, like I didn't have to. I just wasn't comfortable with the way I sounded. I wasn't comfortable with the way I portrayed myself, and I definitely wasn't comfortable with the type of person I was. Hell, like for a long time, I didn't want to be myself. I despised myself. I thought I was worthless. I thought I was this. I thought I was that, you know. It's hard to get yourself out of that mindset. And to anybody who's struggling with that, it doesn't have to stay like that, you know? You don't have to always be so hard on yourself. And most of us, the reason why we're so hard on ourselves is, well, because our family or other people were hard on us. So we feel like we need to be hard on ourselves. We need to put ourselves accountable, but while that's true, you don't have to hold yourself to this high standard of like what you need to be. Be frank, you're not you right now. You're not him right now. That's fair. You don't have to. You're not supposed to be him right now. If you're a young man like me, or a young person, young woman, you know, you're not supposed to be the complete product right now. And I know social media portrays it as the fact that, you know, we gotta be this. We gotta have all the aura techniques. We gotta have all the mogging techniques. We gotta know how to do this, know how to do that, bro. No, bro. We don't gotta know how to do anything, bro. Not knowing is hot, man. Not knowing is cool. Because if you don't know something, you can always learn it. You can always experience it for the first time. Think about how much times you said, bro, if I could just listen to that song for the first time again. Or, bro, if I could listen to that. No, listen, if I could watch that show again, that movie again. Like, I would. Now think about all the things you can do right now for the first time. All the things you can experience right now. All the things you can mess up and do. All the things that people would be jealous for you doing for the first time, you know? There's things like that. Being hard on yourself is not being accountable. It's being your worst enemy. It's being, frankly, an asshole. You know, there's a difference between keeping yourself accountable and being hard on yourself, you know. You know, being accountable is like, I know I messed up. I probably shouldn't have done that, and I really want to make it up to them. You know, I'm gonna do this, and you know, I'm gonna give them my sincerest apology, and I'm gonna own up to all the mistakes I made, because they don't deserve to sit with that confusion and wonder. You know, that's being accountable, but you being hard on yourself is, I'm such an idiot, you know. Oh, I'm so stupid. I should never be making that mistake. I should know better. I don't make these type of mistakes. I'm not that type of person. That's different. That's completely different. And that's not healthy. That's not maintainable. That's destructive, and you're not gonna end up. You're gonna always end up hating yourself. And I have a friend who tells me, he's like, bro, in order to work out, in order to be at the gym, you need to hate yourself. And I disagree. Sure, it's a good motivator. There's lots of different motivators. You know, people use revenge as a motivator. People use hate. People use love. There's a lot of things that can motivate you. But does that make it, you know, the best way to motivate you? Or the safest way? Or the, you know, just the most sensible way? Not necessarily. Dude, it's hard, man. It's hard knowing what type of person you are and, like, what type of person you want to be, you know? Because... Oh, we traded. Because sure, you could be like, oh, I'm a nice guy. Hmm? You're a nice guy? No. You'd be like, no, I'm a nice guy, you know? I'm a nice guy. I'm not too disrespectful, you know? I know my place. I'm this, I'm that. But sure, you may be all that, but that doesn't mean you have momentary lapse of judgment where you say shit you shouldn't say and you disrespect people just because you think it's funny. Or you make people, you rage bait. Because, oh, it's just rage baiting, you know, it's a joke. No, man. Like, dude, be real. Be real with yourself. People need to start being real, man. Like, oh my god. People who aren't real with themselves, they annoy me. Because, not annoy me. I guess I understand. And that's why it annoys me. Because, like, I understand you don't want to be real to yourself because, you know, all this stuff you're keeping buried and, you know, you just want to live your life. You just want to do X. You just, you know, you don't want to think about all that random BS. And, which is fair, sure. But, dude, that's not going to last. It's not going to last, and ignoring your feelings doesn't work. I'm not gonna lie. It does not work. You know, I look at my dad. And I see a man who's gone through so much and who carries so much burden and pain with him all the time. And while he manages to somehow make it look manageable, that doesn't mean all the time he's really doing good. I could tell that he's not happy with a lot of things, with this, that, himself, other people, and it takes out that anger on other people. Well, it's not physical. It's very, you know, just say something disrespectful real quick, which I guess I'll get frustrated. Makes sense. But, you know, that's why I don't want this for you. You know, you shouldn't be passing your pain onto other people. You shouldn't be. Just because you're hurt doesn't give you the excuse to hurt others. You know the saying, hurt people. And I know a lot of you struggle with relationships where you're just like, why would she do this to me? Why would he do this to me? You know, we were doing so good. They were so nice. They were perfect. They were a perfect person. And, well, it's like they changed. It's like they completely showed something different. I'll tell you, like, you just didn't know them. You knew this idea of somebody. You knew this thickness of somebody. And yet, you kept with it. You kept with the lie. And, you got yourself in a hole. Now it's time for you to dig out of it. It's time for you to find, you know, where that leads, and you have to be willing to face all of the consequences. Which means maybe not even finding closure. Maybe means just, wishing the other person well and moving on. And if you find it hard to even communicate that, if you find that hard, maybe I can give you some sort of motivation, some sort of something, you know. Because being lost like that, being lost and scared about what other people think, it's a death trap, man. It's a death trap. You gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes. And being uncomfortable is very uncomfortable. And, you know, allowing yourself to sit in that discomfort can actually better you somehow, you know. Whenever let's say you go through something very rough, you know, and get in an argument, and, you know, the argument ends, and you're just sitting there now, just with all the time to reflect. You know, you could maybe beat yourself up. You could forgive the other person. You could do X, Y, Z, you know, all that. Or you could just sit in that discomfort and, you know, feel the pain a bit. You know, we always do so much to numb ourselves. We always distract ourselves with things. We always refuse to, you know, face the problem. Drown ourselves in video games, drugs, alcohol, you know, everything. And it feels good because it just removes that pain. And, you know, people think removing pain is better than growing from the pain. Just because you can find a quick release doesn't make it right, you know. Oh. Oh, God, crazy! What the fucking wire? Ah! Oh, I'm live. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be talking to you guys whenever I get the chance. You know, hopefully hopefully we can start something. Honestly, I wanna start experimenting with my videos. I don't know how, but I wanna put some more effort. Maybe, you know, definitely on the editing side. I wanna do a good video on something. You know? I don't know what it'd be. I'm thinking maybe it'd be like it'd be something, you know, I enjoy. Would it be something commentary, like me talking to you guys about something? Or would it just be something completely out of left field, you know? I don't know. But I kind of want to try something. Now, does that mean that's going to happen? That's going to come to fruition? I don't know. You know, I have it on my mind, though. I know I'm notorious for coming up with ideas well in advance and taking months to figure it out and actually make it come to fruition. Ooh. Alright. I'm just gonna keep shooting these droids. These clankers. Anyway, guys. I'm glad you guys are here with me. And I'm glad you guys are here. Because... Anyway. I don't know. I'm low-key yapping, but yeah. Alright, guys. This is Dia. Hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, good night, whatever. Hope to see you guys next time, man. Stay blessed, yo. Alright. Oh, that's my alarm, y'all. Time to go. Yo.